Welcome to TADSummit Asia. So I'm going to provide a introduction to what we're going to be covering at TADSummit Asia, as well as give you a little bit of background. So firstly, I must thank the sponsors, Sangoma, Asterix, VoIP Innovations, and Telesign. Without their support, this wouldn't be happening. Now, with Telesign, we're actually covering several of the teletalks, and they've got one coming up on the 30th of April. So that's this Thursday. So I just sort of show you the URL, and that's at 10 a.m. Central European time on April the 30th. So go there, sign up, and you could potentially win $500. So it's not just the sponsors. We have many, many partners that are helping us make TADSummit Asia possible. There's a list there. I'm sure I'm forgetting a few people. I apologize. But again, there's a lot of people that are coming together to share with you some amazing content about, well, it's programmable communications or programmable telecoms if you prefer. We don't care. You can use either word. Some people seem to prefer programmable communications, other programmable telecoms. We're happy. We also use the term CX tech, where the C stands for connectivity, communications, collaboration, conversation, customer. X for experience, and tech, because that's where we're focused on with TADSummit, very much around the enablers. Now, one of the things that's unique with TADSummit is we have a policy statement. And in that policy statement, we say no BS. And that is something that is unique and really does differentiate what we try to do in the presentations, the content, because the telecoms, as well as the enterprise communications industry, is full of a lot of noise and nonsense. I'll give you just a quick flavor of some of the silliness that we have out there. It's like cloud is the answer. It's not. The world's more complex. We need to move to a post-cloud world where it's okay to have on-prem because of regulatory compliance, or just the internet sucks where you are. You know, there's so many fashionable theories that come out of the Bay Area that are just irrelevant to the needs of most businesses. We have silly phrases like digital transformation. Digital was cool in the 1970s. It's no longer cool 50 years later. And all it sort of means is trying to catch up with the web guys. There's lots of false wars, like it's Microsoft Teams versus Slack. And the answer is it's not, it's both. Now, phone systems, that's a winner takes all, absolutely. But for messaging and collaboration, different teams have different needs and use different tools, and that's fine. RCS, well, maybe next year we'll see something happen there. The silly terms like API economy. API is a HTTP request. It's a services economy, not the API economy. Also, again, back to the Bay Area, there's Bay Area BS artists that come in, tell you that because they work in the Bay Area, they know everything and what you should do. And I would say, generally, it's best just to ignore that advice. We see today that collaboration is all about video. Well, we've been using tools like email, messaging, for years, for decades. That is part of collaboration. Video is an important component, but it's not the whole of collaboration. We have 5G, 4G is good enough. There's all these biased magic quadrants that are all based around large US enterprise needs. May make sense for those guys, but for most, it doesn't make business sense. There's all these pay-to-play awards where if you sponsor something, you then win an award. I just, again, recommend ignore the awards. There's this flavor of you have to have unified communication as a service and contact center as a service and CPaaS as a service, communication platform as a service to be relevant. And the answer is no, you don't. Businesses have different needs and will use the components that they need. Artificial intelligence doesn't exist and won't for at least a decade, yet it's plastered everywhere. Again, all this silliness, these inflated expectations, this application of silly words like digital to everything, like digital customer, it just wastes people's time, money, and we can't afford as an industry to be so wasteful. And that's why with TADSummit, we try to keep it as focused as possible. Some of the false narratives that are out there, for example, RingCentral, Microsoft, Cisco, Zoom, 8x8 are not destined to own unified communication. Well, unless you're a large US corporation with lots of money to spend. For most businesses, you don't want UC. It's called a phone system. That's good enough. You already have collaboration, messaging. You have your mobile phones. It's like, the phone system is a piece of the overall pie. And for most businesses, they don't have an IT department, so they can't rely on a business that's operating out of the Bay Area. They need a local person or business they can trust that makes it easy for them. This channel, we'll be discussing that more through TADSummit Asia. And to be honest, most people and businesses are frugal. That is, saving money matters a lot more than a long list of features. Again, this is the focus. This is the reality that TADSummit helps people through. So we keep it real. We're not trying to focus on great stories or beautiful features. We try to keep it real to help people make the right decisions for them to save money and grow their business. Now in CX tech, there's a lot of M&A taking place. Cinch last month bought Wavy for 60 million to grow their Latin American market. Now I just picked that up just to show there's still M&A taking place. Mark White, who has been part of TADHack and TADSummit for many years now, he's joined the Quorum group to head up their Asian M&A practice. So again, that's part of his focus, is looking at CX tech M&A. So again, there's lots of activity here. There's lots of CX tech companies across Asia. I just pick up a few of them. Some of them are global champions, some more focused on particular regional plays in this space. Of course, last year, 8x8 acquired Wavecell out of Singapore. So again, more examples of all the activity taking place in Asia in this space. And you've got some regional champions that have produced, for example, with Senid Mobile, they're the technology and the power behind IdeaMart, the most successful telco CPaaS ever. And they're taking their technology, and now they have what's called eCPaaS, enterprise CPaaS, and helping enterprises adopt the technology so they no longer need to partner or use a CPaaS service, they can use it directly. We're also going to be learning about interesting open source projects that, again, are open sourcing CPaaS. So this is a very dynamic area with lots of opportunities for companies in Asia to meet the needs of their local enterprise customers. So it's a very exciting time to be in programmable communications. Now, back to TADHack, TADSummit. It's been quite busy already this year. We've had 2 hackathons. So we had TADHack Mini Phoenix just before Avaya Engage in February. And then we had TADHack Mini Orlando. That was just before Enterprise Connect. Well, Enterprise Connect got cancelled, but we still ran ahead with our event. And then we got our big global hackathon in 2020. And then we have conferences, and this is more sharing the insight and discussing so the impact of programmable telecoms from a business and technology perspective. We have TADSummit Asia, and that's what this introduction is all about. And then what I've done is I've combined EMEA and Americas into one online event in November, because it's just too risky to be running an event where you're bringing like 100 people together because of the COVID-19 risks. Now, the reason we focus on hackathons as well as TADSummit, more sort of conference type stuff, is a hackathon is all about education around programmable communications, programmable telecoms. You really can't do this yourself. You're going to hear from some entrepreneurs in Asia. We're interviewing them, and about how they see programmable communications as it's no code. It makes it very easy, not just coders, but small business owners can build up apps to solve problems in their business. It helps promote the technology providers to show what's possible. There's no hiding behind slideware or marketing slides. It's real because people are using the sponsors' technologies to build solutions to problems that they see in their work, home, and community lives. It's a great way, of course, of building talent for our industry, and it's just amazing fun because it's real, it's not slideware. You're making a difference. Now, TADHack started back in 2014. We've had 6 events. We've got a 7th coming up this year. We've got 11 minis. We've run across 44 plus countries. Thousands of people have been involved. We've distributed quite a lot of prize money and goodies. As you can see, lots of sponsors, lots of partners, and we've had a big impact on people's lives and helping them found companies, get great jobs, launch services, and we've had people involved from the ages of 14 through to 85 take part in TADHack. It's really making a difference in the world. And of course, a picture speaks 1,000 words. So here I show TADHack over the years, from our first event in 2014 through 2015, where we grew, 2016, where we grew even more. We even made it onto breakfast TV news in South Africa, and 2017, where we were massive. It was thousands of people around the world. We've sort of backed off, so we have about 10 locations now each year. It's more manageable. So here are some nice pictures from 2018 and then 2019. Again, the hackathons help us keep it real, the reality of what the technology can do, what people are really concerned about. Now, some of the other unique aspects of TADSummit are, well, if you're a CIO trying to understand what all these acronyms mean, we provide clarity and independence of insight. We're not trying to push a particular platform on you, some nice, beautiful future. We're showing you what is and isn't possible. You see that in the presentations. If you're a technology or service provider in this segment, you're going to learn from peers, have a track record of innovation success. Again, that's part of the unique aspect of TADSummit, is sharing best practices to help us grow this whole industry. Also for telcos and CSPs, it provides you with independent thought leadership around telecommunications. I can tell you now, the GSMA and the Telemanagement Forum are taking you in the wrong direction as a telco. They're taking you towards being a commoditized ISP. Telecoms is still relevant and you need to be in the game. What they're taking you is not in the right direction. For developers and students, TADSummit provides an insight to an exciting technology space that can set your career on a fast track. And we've seen that. We've helped people get great jobs. For regulators and thought leaders, you're meeting the brain trust of the growth engine revolutionizing communications, telecoms. That's a $1.2 trillion industry. And Asia is underperforming in CX tech. I'm going to quantify that at some of the presentations that we're going to hear at TADSummit Asia. And then we'll look at how we can close that gap. Just to give you a few highlights from the agenda, we have from our sponsors, Sangoma will be going through their stack, their CPaaS, some of the success stories around Asia, the security considerations with their platform, also how to get started with Asterix and free PBX. From Telesign, as I said, we'll be covering their teletalks in the TADSummit agenda, and also have a nice keynote from Stacey Stubblefield, the CEO the CIO and co-founder of Telesign. We'll have an interesting session. We'll have from Sebastian from Deutsche Telekom and Martin from Automap. They'll be sharing some interesting insights around how developers use APIs, the need for a universal telecom API. Now, given the diversity of the market in Asia, this has a lot of potential. And we'll be discussing with quite a few interesting people, Dinesh, Craig, Mark White, all based in Asia, have spent their whole careers in Asia, to discuss this opportunity of the universal telecom API. We'll also be interviewing innovators, so Manjeet from Buddy for Study, Ruan from Extragene, Devadas from iSchoolPage. These are all entrepreneurs, innovators that are using programmable communications. We'll also have a very interesting chat with David Curran. He recently won a Science Hack Day, and actually last weekend he just won another hackathon. It was a Techstars Startup Weekend, and have a chat with him around why hackathons are important, their relevance, and the recipe to get it right. Because I see hackathons popping up mainly from the web companies, the Googles, Facebooks, etc. And I don't see enough Asian-focused businesses being successful in building up an ecosystem to use their capabilities. We also have a number of presentations around some important open source telecom software projects, so Kama Elio, OpenSips, Drashio. I'll be reviewing the overall landscape so you get a view of just the number of projects that are out there that you can take advantage of. We'll also review the status of WebRTC. We've got market perspectives, so Mark will be looking at telecom M&A across Asia. We'll be looking at the CX tech landscape and market sizing to understand both the opportunity and gap that exists in the Asian market today, plus lots more on chatbots and machine learning. So it's going to be a packed agenda through May. Now, let me explain the process so you understand how the content is going to be released over the coming month. So starting the 4th of May, we'll be releasing fresh content daily. So this will be a pre-recorded presentation, which will have it embedded in the TADSummit Asia agenda. So you just go to the agenda and you'll see all the presentations that will be released daily. The agenda will also link to a weblog with more analysis where you can discuss the presentations, where you can ask questions. And all presentations, weblogs will include how to contact the presenter so you can get in contact with them directly. We're not capturing people's emails, so you'll get spammed later. If people are saying something that's of interest to you, you can contact them directly. And we'll be promoting the content on social media. What I mean by that is Twitter and LinkedIn. We don't use Facebook here. Delete Facebook forever is my recommendation. Now, with all plans, there's exceptions. So our first Telesign Teletalk is actually on the 30th of April. So that will be the first piece of original content. After that, we'll start with daily drops from the 4th of May. Then towards the end of May, we'll, those presentations that have generated a lot of discussion, we'll have some dedicated panels among some relevant experts to discuss those topics in more detail. So hopefully that gives you a feel for what's going to happen. Daily drops of original content through May, and we'll wrap it up with some interesting panel discussions. So looking forward to this journey with you, and I hope you find it of great value. So again, thank you for taking the time to listen, and I hope to be sharing those insights with you soon.